What's going on, guys? McDowell here. If you liked the backing track I was playing over at the beginning, that's by N&M Creation. I think they make some of the best content on the platform in terms of well-produced tunes that make you want to write a couple licks or practice some improv, that kind of thing. I've gotten a lot of value from practicing over their stuff, so yeah, check them out. There's a link in the description below. But that is not why I'm here today, and that's not the thing I want to talk about. I was feeling pretty negative after the Balance Manifesto came out. I spent some time watching videos from other content creators, and I think it's safe to say the reception to a lot of the changes has been mixed, but I thought I'd share a few of the things I'm excited about, the stuff that's stuck in my head when I'm doing other stuff throughout the day, particularly because the last few videos that I did were fairly negative, and so I wanted to highlight some of the things that are actually getting me excited to return to the game. And so for me, easily the most exciting change is Harvest. I typically avoid crafting at all costs because the combination of having to deal with running the Harvest and TFT is just not my thing. It's basically fun level 0 for me, and so now I can just smash through a Harvest, pick up the Kool-Aid stuff, and start learning how to actually make some of the items I need on my own time. I've been running basically the same league mechanics in my farm routines for a couple weeks now, and so this will be massive change to my actual hour-to-hour gameplay experience. And I guess I was actually craving this a little bit more than I realized I was. Then there's the Beyond changes, and I've always hated Beyond. I do it for currency, but it's not fun for me. It's kind of just a soulless tool that I use. Scourge, on the other hand, was maybe my favorite league of recent memory, and they basically took out all the shit I don't like and kept everything I do like. I'm actually kind of hyped to blast into a map with maybe like a Deli Orb on there and then crack some breaches open and have Krangle monsters popping out, dropping that tasty Krangle currency stuff. I don't even care if they nerf the fusings a little bit. They made it so smooth at the beginning of the league in terms of just getting, decent 6 links going. I don't know, 10 out of 10 in my opinion. I can't really think of a better way they could have reintroduced that mechanic. Then there's the change to Exalted and Divine Orbs, and I'm excited about this too. Item rolls might matter, and there might be a market that springs up around that, which will be interesting to see as that progresses. I don't have to farm Beyond and fill my inventory over and over with all the 6 links and then go vendor them and then try and get back into the map. Then you die. Then you go back in, you have to pick up more shit. And that's not even counting all the other stuff that you're picking up. The 6 link farming alone is tedious. I don't really enjoy it, but it was lucrative, so I did. And so I'm not sorry to see that playstyle disappear a little bit. And I don't remember there being this exact type of instability in the economy right as a league launches, at least not at a time when I've been actively playing. People always say the best thing about the league model is the forced economy reset every few months. I can't think of a more profound reset than we've got now. It is going to be a little bit weird that older videos will be less useful to people, particularly the stuff where it's like, get this much X per hour or whatever, but I don't really make that stuff anyway, and so I just don't think that's going to affect me a whole lot. And I don't know to what degree people are looking up old currency farming strategies, and so yeah, there's going to be some, common parlance issues with a lot of us are just used to saying this is worth this much Exalt or whatever. It's going to be really exciting to see how all this shakes out, and in the end, I guess I'm ready to see this kind of new economy frontier after a long period of stagnation. And then let's not forget about the league mechanic. The item stuff looks to me to be about a 7 out of 10. I think they could have been more creative in that department, but the actual deal where you organize the little tablets and make a juicy reflection or whatever it's called, that's a 10 out of 10 for me. If it's actually as fun to play as it looks in the marketing materials they've put out so far. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see, but I dig the aesthetic of the lake, the emphasis on bringing in other league mechanics, and you can scale the difficulty to some degree while you're setting shit up in your map. And ultimately, I'm a map farmer at heart, and so this is a map farmer's league if I've ever seen one. Either way, I'm going to be blasting stuff, and maybe I'll sell all the lake setup things that you can pick up, or maybe I'll end up running them all, but that'll just be fun to see as it plays out. And then lastly, I think it's worth mentioning the Trickster rework. I have been thinking about that a little bit in my off time here. I'm not going to talk about all the nodes. You can look at that stuff on your own. I think I'll just say that I think they did a pretty decent job of creating interest in an ascendancy that was not interesting at all. I want to see what Captain Lance puts together for an RF setup with the Trickster before I jump in myself, but we might have to test out whatever he comes up with at some point in the league. Either way, we'll have to play some kind of trickster at some point. That tasty node that gives you the more damage and regen for each different type of mastery that you get, that looks pretty good. And none of this is to say I'm 100% happy with where the game is right now, or that I'm happy with how GGG has handled things. The new skills suck, I think. Melee is still like a smoldering tire fire at the edge of town. The balance changes were underwhelming. The ascendancy changes, other than Trickster, look pretty weak. Arch Nemesis is still fail, in my opinion. I'm not looking forward to having to deal with those big, stupid, like 4 mod rares at the beginning of the league. That was tiresome, and hopefully we can just outgear that pretty quick. But I'm not really thinking about that stuff in my off time. I'm thinking about that delicious Krangle currency, and I'm wondering what's going to happen with the Exalties and all of the stuff that goes along with that. How can I set myself up with a good / enjoyable farming routine that takes into account all the stuff I mentioned, and where's that going to lead me as the league goes on? What kind of builds am I going to be able to fund? Is it going to be a type of league where I'm mostly playing one character, or is it going to be a situation where I learn how to craft and that opens up possibilities for builds that I normally wouldn't be able to afford, or that would be harder for me to get off the ground due to item availability on the market, so on and so forth. All of that stuff is exciting for me. Those are just my thoughts, and that's basically all I've got for you today. As always, I'll likely go back and forth about what build I'm going to play for the league start until about 10 minutes before it starts, and then I'll pick RF Inquisitor. And I may put out one more video before then, but we'll see what happens. I will for sure be back with my normal quasi-daily update videos once the week goes live. And yeah, if you're enjoying the content, please do hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in 3.19. I appreciate it.